Hi, I'm Brad with That Damn Nerd, and on today's episode, we're going to talk about SDR Trunk, an open source piece of software that allows you to build your own scanner on your own hardware. We're going to talk about the benefits, we're going to talk about some of the features, and we're going to talk about a little bit of the installation, which will lead us into next week's video. It's going to be a great episode. Stick around. The big question everyone asks is, what is SDR Trunk? Well, it's an open source piece of software designed for monitoring and decoding different types of radio communication protocols. And it's well suited particularly for software-defined radios. Hobbyists and professionals who want to analyze and decode trunked radio systems. The trunked radio systems are commonly used in public safety, military, and in commercial radio networks. So let's talk a little bit about the benefits and the features and functionalities of SDR Trunk. So as the name had alluded to, yes, this supports trunked radio systems, both analog and digital, and it can be used to primarily monitor and decode trunked radio systems. So what is a trunked radio system? That's a question within a question. So a trunked radio system is basically a pool of frequencies that can be allocated out to a large number of users, making them efficient for organizations with a large number of radio users. I'll give you a great real-world example. The county that I live in is one of 6 counties in a massive node of a P25 system. So the county that I live in specifically has 6 to 8 radio towers at any given time that are spread out, that when you press a button on a public safety radio, what it ends up doing is it ends up going out and grabbing an unused frequency out of the 8 to 10 frequencies that they have available in their pool that's not being used by another radio user somewhere in the 6-tower system. And it will allow you to transmit your voice or whatever you need to say over that, but it also splits it off with other users. So it does back and forth modulation, kind of like AM/FM radio, but it allows you to combine multiple voices, multiple channels, multiple transmissions on the same frequency at the same exact time. That's a very, very simple explanation of what a digital trunking system is, a P25 system. So if you're interested in looking at that, I mean, there's Wikipedia articles, there's studies, there's projects done by universities that discuss P25. Way better resources than just me talking about it. But if you're interested about it, maybe I'll throw some links down in the description. So the other thing is that it supports multiple different types of platforms. So you can use Windows, Linux, Mac OS, anything that can run Java theoretically should be able to run SDR Trunk as long as it uses an x86 processor, which actually I think might have been fixed in a more recent version of SDR Trunk. So as long as you have an operating system or a piece of hardware that can support Java, you're in the gold. You can build yourself a hardware scanner or a software scanner with SDR Trunk. Another huge benefit of SDR Trunk is that it has a wide range of support for SDR hardware. So you can use things like an RTL SDR, pretty much any different version of RTL SDR, as long as you use the specific chipset. You can also use a hack RF, an AirSpy, and 100 different types of it. So it allows you to choose from the hardware, software that you want to run this based on your specific needs and on your budget. Another great feature that personally I love about SDR Trunk is that it allows you to do multi-channel monitoring. So the software is capable of monitoring multiple channels at once simultaneously. It's crucial for keeping track of multiple different conversations on multiple channels within a trunked radio system. So on the video yesterday, or the video on hardware defined radio, or HDR, we talked about the Uniden SDS100 and how it is one of the best radios out there that you can get your hands on for monitoring and scanning, and that the little device that I had built had actually outperformed it. And this is the sole reason why, because you can monitor multiple channels at one time, and as long as you have the ability to get those channels, as long as your SDR hardware can bring those channels in at the same time, then you're golden. This goes along with the first thing that we talked about, but it does what's called DVD, or digital voice decoding. So DVD is the decoding of various digital protocols commonly used in the trunked radio systems. So it includes things like P25 phase 1 and phase 2. It includes motor turbo, or DMR. It includes NXDN. So primarily it does really, really well with TDMA and encryption, light encryption, not full encryption, but light encryption. Another great feature that this software offers is visualization. So it offers what's called RTV, or real-time visualization. So the software provides you a graphical representation of the trunked radio system that you're currently monitoring. So it shows you the flow of communication, allows you to track channels, signal level, and a whole bunch of other things, which is really, really cool. And if you're a radio enthusiast, or you're a tech enthusiast that's interested in radio signals, you get the ability to kind of see how everything works on the back end, the communication between the towers and the radios, and tower to tower, or even system to system, when you're talking about a multi-county system. Another cool thing that I've alluded to in the previous two videos is that you can stream from SDR Trunk. So it allows you not only to record the transmissions that are happening, but you can stream it out to Shoutcast, Icecast, Broadcastify if you don't have one in your area. And it allows you to do documentation, analysis, and archiving of the radio communications that you're listening to. Another great feature that this offers, as opposed to other trunking software, is that you can text, tag, and create aliases for the channels that you like to listen to. You can assign nicknames to them, to the channels, to the talk groups, and to individual radios, programming in radio IDs or things like that, making it easier to identify and keep track of different entities within the system that you're monitoring. Along with its superior logging and event reporting feature, another great thing about SDR Trunk is its community and user support. So because it's an open source project, SDR Trunk benefits from an extremely active user community with forums, discussion groups, and online resources that provide a great platform for you to seek help, share knowledge, and collaborate on the software's development. So one of the great things is if you're an experienced user with GitHub, or you just know how to use GitHub, get on GitHub, find this project on there, and create feature requests. They actively listen to new things that you can add, or that you want added to SDR Trunk. And don't be surprised if you see them in future versions. In previous videos, we talked a lot about my little hardware scanner that outperforms my SDS100 handheld radio. Well, we're going to talk about it again today because this actually runs SDR Trunk. So you have two SDR radios here, one for your control and then one to pick up other frequencies on the modulation. So as a person hits the button, one of them will track that, and the other one just grabs the frequencies. So it's a great thing to set up. And I think I had spent maybe $100, $110 to build this. The computer was about $60 off of eBay, and then each of the radios, no, I think it was cheaper than that. It was $45 off of eBay, and then the radios themselves, I think I got for $19.99 on Amazon. So other than that, I mean, it works great. It runs Ubuntu Linux and SDR Trunk with it's completely automated, turns on and off, and it streams to a Shoutcast server that I've provided to friends and family. So we're going to look in that in a future video. We're going to talk about, or I'm actually going to do a full tutorial on how I built this and show you guys how to build your own one of these. One of the cool things that I want to make sure that I talk about is if you guys do end up wanting to build one of these, make sure that you get one with a built-in speaker. Otherwise, you're not going to hear anything. You're going to have to hook up a speaker to it. So if you don't want to have to do that, then make sure that you're grabbing something with a built-in speaker. All right, well, that's going to do it for today's video. Remember to subscribe if you want to see on the next video how I made that little hardware software scanner, because we'll do a tutorial on making your own. And also remember to like and share this video if you learned something. Also, if you want to suggest something, make sure you comment it down below, and it could make its way into a future video. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. Be safe.